The restaurant industry has been hit hard by the COVID-19 pandemic. However, chefs have come up with some pretty imaginative ways to go ahead and get food out to you and me, one of them being takeout. In this edition of Field to Feast, TWILA's Jennifer Finley takes us to Houmas house, where there's a lot of field there for you to spread out and have some social distance while also enjoying a special takeout Mother's Day menu.
Field to Feast with Jennifer Finley is brought to you by the Louisiana Crawfish Promotion and Research Board, Louisiana Crawfish, ask before you eat, and by the Louisiana Beef Industry Council, beef, it's what's for dinner, and by the Louisiana Rice Promotion Board, think rice.
Welcome to Field to Feast, where we profile Louisiana and its local ingredients. This morning we're at Houmas House, and we're going to be speaking to Chef Jeremy Langlois. He's going to talk to us about the restaurant industry right now and their plans to reopen. Afterwards, he'll make us a special dish. Chef, you're somebody who knows a lot about this industry. You've been in this industry for a long time. Can you talk to me a little bit about the effects of what's been happening?
Well, sure. First of all, thank you so much for having us on your program. We always appreciate getting a chance to talk with you, Jennifer. As far as the affection, I think we're all just trying to hang in there. It's been quite challenging to the level of something we've never seen before. I don't think anybody in our lifetime has ever seen us having to just go on lockdown for just such a long time. We've definitely survived things. Whenever we opened up here in 2005, in January, a couple months later, we had Katrina, and we've definitely had some challenges that we've had to face, but nothing on this level. So we're just taking it day by day and just trying to get through the best we can. And it's a struggle that I really worry about. I have plenty of friends in the industry, plenty of restaurant owners, and more importantly, me, I'm a very much in the trenches kind of guy, and I'm super concerned about all of our staffing and all of our people who use this industry for their livelihood. So we're just trying to hang in there and just super eager to open up as soon as we can.
Well, I was wondering, comparable, is there anything that you've been through, and you said post-Katrina, that gives you some blueprints on how to do this, how to get back in the swing of things when the stay-at-home is lifted?
Well, I mean, nothing quite like this, to be honest with you.
All new territory.
All new territory. I mean, I think when we open back up, we expect there to be a period of adjustment where people are just comfortable going out and being around crowds of people and being just in big groups and things like that. But with that said, we're also making plans on the steps that we can ensure that level of safety. I mean, something I tell to my staff all the time, everything's important. And what I mean by that is that we've always taken that seriously, and it's going to be even more of a test. I mean, you've been in our kitchens, and we take just the cleanliness and the sanitation of our kitchens just as important as the food that we're putting on a plate. And we can see those efforts ramping up as well. We want to make sure that our guests who come and experience this place feel confident and feel safe coming in here, and we're looking to take all those challenges on head on, and we're just looking forward to opening up as soon as we can.
Okay, Chef, so what's y'all's plan for reopening?
Well, we're operating right now. We're doing takeout only, just like all of the restaurants. And what a lot of guests decide to do is they'll place their orders, we'll give it to them in a to-go box. And a lot of them, the beautiful thing about here at Houmas House is there's just so much space. So a lot of guests will actually choose to come out and either eat it on grounds, maybe sit down, because there is just a lot of space for them to spread out and
it's already
and
social distance.
And one of the beautiful, I guess, coincidences is that the weather's just been so great, and it's just been absolutely perfect. So a lot of guests choose to eat out here. There's lots of room for people to spread out and eat. And then when we do eventually get the word where we can actually start to have guests come back in,
yes, like me.
Yeah, 100%. We plan to have you back, but we're already planning on still spreading everybody out. We have lots of room in our restaurants as well, so we'll probably sit people every other table for the first initial phase of our reopening, and we plan on coming back slowly.
Chef, tell me about the wedding industry when it comes to Houmas House.
Well, it's unfortunately just been crazy for everybody. Unfortunately, I feel really sorry for people because I know how much trouble goes into trying to plan a wedding, and all of our weddings in both April and May have all been postponed. So not necessarily canceled, but postponed. And we're looking forward to being able to serve those people whenever we come back online. The great thing of Houmas House, we have so much room, so we imagine that we can do anything from small 10 people intimate weddings all the way to 300, 400 plus people weddings. We've done and everything in between. So we have the means. A lot of people choose to get married out in front of the house. So there's plenty of room there. We have plenty of large both banquet spaces and outdoor spaces where we can really spread things out. So we're looking to be able to do them as soon as we can.
Well, for somebody who loves the restaurant industry the way that I do, and I have spent a lot of time in, with chefs over the years, I want to help. I don't know what to do. So for now and for the future, is there some advice for the viewers and for myself on things that actually would be helpful that we could be doing?
Well, if you're a guest, what I would tell anybody, if you have the means, if this hasn't really affected you as it has so many people, just support your support your favorite restaurants. We operate on such thin margins. We have such large overhead and staffs and things like that. So if you are able to, go and take advantage of some of these family meals that restaurants are open. Order out, take out as much as you can. Gift cards are another great idea. If you would go ahead and buy gift cards now that you can give away as great. They make great gifts. Or you could just use them later when things do eventually open up. Well, now you have your gift card, and it's a good way to just support your local restaurants.
Chef, since we're here, would you mind sharing a special dish with us?
We have to. You can't come here and not do some cooking, right?
I cannot come here and not eat your food.
Let's get it.
Let's go. So we're back in the kitchen with Chef Jeremy Langlois at Houmas House, and what a cool kitchen.
Yeah, we're not just in any kitchen, so let me tell you a little bit about where we're at. So this is the old kitchen attached to the back part of the mansion of Houmas House, and this is the original kitchen. What we're sitting in is Houmas House. Actually, the building and the structure itself came up throughout the years, and we're actually standing in the oldest part of the building, which this is attached to what is called the cottage section of the house, which is the oldest part of the house, built in 1773. That's older than the Louisiana Purchase.
I can touch the ceiling.
Yeah, and one of the reasons for that is, as we go through the doorways and stuff like that, the reason why they're so short is because people were just shorter back then. So even the doors are shorter. A full-grown man would be about 5'4". A full-grown woman would be average height would be around 4'11". So people were just shorter back then.
What are we going to be making today? I'm
Sure.
so excited.
Well, when you approached me and I found out you were coming, you said, "Don't worry about
this,
or
that, or the
that
other. Something that makes you happy."
Yeah. So this is an example of how I cook at home. When I cook at home, I go one extreme to the other. I either like doing a dish that's long and slow and soulful, or where I just go every now and then and give it a stir, like a stew or something like that, or I do something that's quick. I can whoop something up really quick, and this is just a classic. So we're going to make some veal marsala.
Oh, perfect.
So what we have here is, this is just some veal cutlets from the leg that have been pounded out. Now you can use any other type of meat that you wish. Chicken, great. Pork, a pork chop that's been thin cut, great. The key is just having it nice and thin, because we're only going to cook it for a minute or two on each side.
And you can pound it out with a mallet, or you can...
Yeah, you grab that bad boy right there, and we can do it. But I'm going to start off just with a skillet. I like using Teflon for this one. You have it because it just makes it easy, but not a requirement. And all I'm going to do is simply season each side of it with salt and pepper. And then I like, whenever I do this at home, I like having a nice, different things. I don't like having a heavy crust, but for this particular dish, I like having a nice eggy, heavy crust. So all I'm doing is, this is just straight up a couple cracked eggs. I'm going to coat it real good in there. Really push it down into these breadcrumbs and go right into that hot skillet. So that's one in. Get that sizzle, and let's get one more in there. But I really like having just that. I dust off most of it, but I do like leaving a little bit of excess on. Now, if I was sauteing a piece of fish, I like having a thin, crispy crust. But this, I like kind of having that heavy kind of breadcrumb crust for this. So while that's cooking, and that's what you're smelling there is that Parmesan cheese and the breadcrumbs starting to toast on the outside.
My cheeks.
And then just for the Marsala sauce, I got a little pot here. Real simple ingredients. These are just button mushrooms here. Nothing crazy, but any mushrooms you have would be perfect. I'm also going to throw some onions and garlic in it as well.
Usually I start with that, but so...
Yeah, and this is all just going to cook. Again, we're doing this in real time. The longest part of your prep here is slicing your mushrooms, cutting your onions and your garlic, and having your veal ready. Once you get to that point, we're gonna throw this together really quick.
Oh my word.
Let's just come back to here, just looking to get that beautiful,
that looks beautiful.
beautiful crust on the outside. I would maybe let this go a minute or two longer, but not much longer. Add a little bit more oil. And the reason I'm adding the oil is I want to have just a little extra oil that I can see here, because I'm going to add just a couple dabs of flour, and this makes like a quick little blonde roux. And I'm just adding. I'm not me. I don't like measuring. So I'm just adding enough flour to where I pick up that oil and I don't see it anymore. Oh. And then that way I know I put enough. And actually that's cooked plenty good enough. And then once we're to that part, we're going to add a little bit of beef broth.
Okay.
And beef broth is important, but now it's so readily available. You can go to your store, and your supermarket. If you can make stock like we do in the restaurant, that's great. I see this as, like I said, we're just cooking it for a minute or two. I'm actually going to turn the heat off, but just let it sit there in the skillet while I finish off my sauce.
The beef broth is the Marsala sauce. That's the
that's the base.
sauce.
That's going to be the base. And we're going to let that come up to a simmer, which it's doing here. Now, because we added the flour, anytime you're cooking with a roux or cornstarch and you're thickening something, it has to boil. It doesn't reach its thickening potential until it comes up to a full boil.
Okay.
So you need it to come to a boil, quick boil, and then you're just going to add a little bit of Marsala. This is just cooking wine. You can get right at the store, but a little bit of Marsala wine.
Okay.
And we're basically almost there.
Oh my word.
I'm gonna let that simmer, but just for a second, I'm gonna add some salt, pepper, and some fresh parsley.
You chose the perfect dish.
And now, Jim, we're done. So let's just go to the plate. I'm gonna put a couple of these sauteed veal, that nice kind of breadcrumb and Parmesan crust.
Oh my word.
I'm gonna top it off with this Marsala sauce with all those mushrooms.
Oh.
And look, this is real time. I mean, how long have we been cooking? Maybe 5 minutes?
Chef, this smells delicious.
Looks good. What do you think? You think we should give it a try?
I absolutely do.
Well, let's get it.
Well, thank you so much for having us today.
Well, it's an absolute pleasure. We're just so excited that, we're just so excited to just get back up and running and have guests here and just continuing to do what we do and feed people.
Ooh, I need an extra mushroom.
Yeah, get you an extra mushroom. We got a lot to go around here. Tell me what you think.
Oh my word.
You can do this, right?
I think I can. This is amazing. Thank you, Chef.
It was a pleasure to have you.
I'll be back when you're reopened.
Love to have you. Perfect.
Field to Feast with Jennifer Finley was brought to you by the Louisiana Crawfish Promotion and Research Board, Louisiana Crawfish, ask before you eat, and by the Louisiana Beef Industry Council, beef, it's what's for dinner, and by the Louisiana Rice Promotion Board, think rice.